Hey fellow firebugs! During your next outdoor gathering, would you like to be a fire wizard for your friends and family? Then impress them by starting a fire using natural materials and ancestral techniques. In this video, you'll learn the top natural materials that can be used to start a fire. With a bit of practice, you will become the go-to fire maker for your family and friends. Yes, it's fun to start a fire using dryer lint, newspaper, and matches. But you've likely already done this dozens of times, and any challenges have been overcome long ago. Besides, you probably want to learn more about plants growing in your area, so that everything in a woodland does not just look like a big wall of green. Discovering the plants that are most helpful in starting a fire is a fun learning endeavor, and it can feel like a forest treasure hunt. The two most common ancestral fire-making tools are Flint-and-Steel and the bow drill. In this video, we'll focus on the materials needed to create these tools. See other videos to learn in-depth techniques to craft these tools and operate them. But before we get to these tools, let's begin with the creation of a Tinder Bundle, also known as a bird's nest. This bundle of highly flammable materials is used in place of newspaper to catch and carry the flame to a small pile of tinder. It can be made from a variety of fine, dry materials. Larger, coarse materials are typically on the outside, and smaller, finer materials are on the inside of the bundle. In late fall and winter, a cluster of 3 to 4 goldenrod seed heads are unbeatable for the middle of the bundle. Seed heads from grasses work well too. To help ignite the bundle, add scrapings made from fatwood. A branch cut from the lower part of a dead pine tree contains resin that is highly flammable. The orange color and turpentine smell are good indicators of fatwood. To help sustain the flame in the bundle, add ground punkwood gathered from dry areas of a dead stump or tree. For the outside structure of the bundle, bark scraped from dead cedar branches or stripped from basswood branches works very well. A large handful of dry pine needles or spruce branches also works well for the outer structure due to their high flammability. Aim for a fist-sized bundle or larger. The larger the bundle, the more time you'll have to blow up enough heat to catch it on fire. Now that you have a Tinder Bundle, let's move on to the ancestral tools used to create an ember that will ignite it. For flint and steel, create charred material that will catch a spark created through the striking action. Cotton strips from old blue jeans work very well. Cook the materials in a fire for 10 to 20 minutes in a metal container that is almost airtight. Hold the resulting charred cloth on the rock and strike a sharp edge to ignite it with a spark. Carefully tuck the cloth into the Tinder Bundle. Wrap the fine inner material around the cloth and blow on it to generate heat that magically ignites it into a flame. Now let's move on to the bow drill. 5 components are needed to construct this exciting tool: a fireboard, a spindle, a bow, a handhold, and an ember catcher. First, create a flat fireboard from a wrist-thick branch. Choose a soft wood such as basswood, cottonwood, or pine. Use a heavy, fixed-blade outdoor knife to baton the branch into a 1/2-inch board that is 8 to 12 inches long. For a spindle, saw off a 6 to 10-inch straight, thumb-thick branch from a harder wood such as maple, ash, oak, hickory, or hackberry. Whittle one end to a long point and the other end to a rounded stub. A slightly curved arm-length branch can be cut for a bow. A branch from a honeysuckle shrub works very well. For the bowstring, use a shoelace or paracord when starting out. While fibers from bark or roots can be woven to create a bowstring, these tend to be very fragile and easily broken. And lastly, a thin piece of bark can be used to catch and hold an ember. Hickory bark works well. A rock with a small divot can be used as a handhold for the spindle. Now that you have everything gathered, spin the spindle on the fireboard with a bow to produce a smoking ember. This will take practice, but just like riding a bike, once you get it, you just keep improving. Similar to char cloth, gently add the smoking ember to the Tinder Bundle and blow it to increase its heat and ignite the flame. So when creating your next fire, gather and play with as many natural materials as possible. You don't need to jump in all at once. Maybe simply replace newspaper with shavings from a pine branch. Just keep adding more and more natural materials to the process as your comfort and skills grow. Through this practice, you'll develop plant identification skills, gain an awareness of how your environment changes through the seasons, and experience a sense of timelessness that comes with an enjoyable and focused endeavor. Learning these skills takes time, but they can be a healthy mindfulness practice that rejuvenates you from a fast-paced world. In addition, the knowledge is easily transferred to other ancestral practices, such as wildcrafting, herbalism, and wild edible foraging, to help you live a more sustainable, connected, and playful life. Happy fire making!